welcome into Across America Good News Edition. My name's Trip Brewster. I'm a digital host with Nexstar Media Group. You might be familiar with my sister program, Across America. That daily production really focuses on a summary of the news of the day. But here on this show, we take a look specifically at some of those stories that will make you smile, maybe make you cry, tug at your heartstrings a little bit. The good news from the week that was. And I'll tell you, the week leading up to August 29th, 2025 was indeed filled with good news. Speaking of tugging on heartstrings, we're going to begin out in Kansas City, where a family welcomed home their baby who had spent a little bit of extra time in the hospital. Here's that story.
Other than the oxygen tubes in his nose, Osiris Steffens looks just like about any other 7-pound newborn resting comfortably in his mom's arms, enjoying a beautiful day outside his Independence home. But both he and his mom are pretty lucky.
So relieved. It's been a long, long time waiting. He was just way too excited to come into this earth, apparently.
Michaela Steffens suffered from HELP syndrome and severe preeclampsia and had to be airlifted to Overland Park Regional Medical Center when the baby's gestational age was just 23 weeks and 2 days.
They told me that if I didn't call the ambulance for myself, that I probably would not have made it another hour.
She had an emergency C-section and delivered a 10-inch long, 1-pound, 4-ounce baby boy.
Very tiny. We called him Baby Bean for so long because he was just so teeny tiny and his skin wasn't finished forming.
She discovered how rare micropreemies of that age were by the reaction of hospital staff.
That's the baby we told you about, and they're like, wow, 23 weeks. Wow, and look how small he is.
She was able to stay at a nearby Ronald McDonald House, but spent the majority of the past 128 days in the NICU, watching Little Oz, as he's also called, get 13 blood transfusions and learn to breathe on his own with initial help of a CPAP machine.
He's gone through just about almost everything you can really think of. And he's just popped back like it's nothing. He's definitely the strongest human being I've ever met in my life, and he is just the tiniest thing, too.
The advancements in medical technology, especially for premature babies, is just crazy lately.
The couple are thankful for the NICU nurses and doctors that got them ready to go home 2 weeks after his original due date.
They did what my body couldn't. They made sure my son was alive. They made sure he was doing his milestones. They made sure he was feeding correctly, breathing correctly, and babying correctly, pretty much, when I couldn't. And I don't know how you're just going to have that utmost respect for people like that.
Totally agree. 128 days in the NICU, and baby is now home with family. If that didn't tug at your heartstrings, I don't know. Maybe I've got a little bit of a personal place for the kids' stories. Well, here's another one for you. Some more good news. This is a different type of kid story, though. We are not talking about a NICU baby going home for the first time. We are talking about a different child of a different age going home for the first time, and that would be a child who spent 15 years in foster care, the longest child in foster care in the state of Arkansas. We're heading down to Little Rock for this next one.
Hi, I'm KATHRYN Thornberry in Little Rock, Arkansas. Today we have an amazing story about a special someone finding their forever home. Cozy had been waiting in foster care for nearly 15 years to find a family. Today he was adopted into that family, and they tell me he fits right in. It's a one-of-a-kind celebration inside the Pulaski County Courthouse on Monday. After nearly 15 years of being in the foster care system and waiting for a forever family, 19-year-old Cozy is embraced in the arms of his new mom and dad, Tim and Anna Dietrich.
Y'all were giddy today.
Anna met Cozy through her job at Project Zero, a nonprofit organization aimed at connecting children in foster care to a permanent, loving home.
Honestly, the Lord made it very clear that we were supposed to all out adopt him. We're supposed to give him our name, give him our family, give him our whole hearts.
Cozy was the longest waiting child in Arkansas's foster care, but after 5,429 days, the wait is over.
I want to congratulate Tim and Anna on welcoming Cozy into their family.
Janet Mann with the Department of Human Services is one of many who squeezed into the packed courtroom, along with other members from DHS, Project Zero, and organizations who have gotten to know Cozy throughout the years. Cozy has been growing his family for years now. On Monday, he just made it official with a new last name.
Cozy's getting a whole crew today, and we're so excited. And that is what we want for every single one of our waiting kids.
Today, the family is celebrating by spending time with one another, visiting a park, and eating some food, some of Cozy's favorite things. Reporting from Little Rock, I'm KATHRYN Thornberry. Back to you.
5,000 plus days in foster care. 19 years old, finally finding that forever home. Okay, yep, that one got to me too. I've got another story. This one's kind of related to childhood. I hope you've noticed that. It was 128 days, 5,000 days. Now we're going to talk about like 40 or 50 years. And this one is all about childhood memories. And I bet there's a lot of people out there that can relate to childhoods spent in the back of a car on road trips. But what about finding that original car that your dad had? Okay, I'm giving away too much. Let's just head out to Colorado Springs for this next one.
This is the original, the original.
Rust, broken windows, and old tire covers.
My heart is full.
Filled a parking lot in downtown Colorado Springs this weekend.
The main draw to this bus is the story behind it.
But only one rusted Volkswagen brought Becky Drinnen from Amarillo, Texas to Colorado Springs.
Full circle, here I am with the van years later.
That's because she grew up in this bus with the windows down, riding alongside her dad.
We'd all pile in. He'd raise the back, he'd raise the lid, we'd hang our feet out and, scream and like 10-year-olds do.
Since the day she could reach the pedals, it's how she learned to drive.
It had a very tired old motor.
Eric Engelman is now the current owner and shares how the treasure fell in his lap.
They pulled it out of the field and we bought it from them.
Now the long and winding road has brought the two together again 40 years later.
I noticed a very, very faint logo on the front of the bus, and it said Dowell's Cafe, Amarillo, Texas. So, being as curious as I am, I started Googling Dowell's Cafe, Amarillo, Texas.
Becky says it was an ordinary day until she got a unique phone call.
My first reaction was it's a scam. Okay, what do you want?
And what she thought was strange at first ultimately brought her back to those open roads in Texas.
And then I said, is it green and orange and black? And he said, that's it. I trusted him from then on.
After 5 years of renovations, they put it up to the eyes of judges at buses at the brewery on Saturday, taking home second place.
I always say, if you're in any position to make somebody's day, make somebody's day.
It was a nostalgic feeling all around, especially for Becky. And if she could say one thing to her late father.
And I think that he would be very, very, very proud.
How unique, right? And that's a story. That's the cool part about this program, right? Across America Good News Edition, the network that we have at Nexstar Media Group. These are local stories that unless you live in that area and you watch that Nexstar station, you probably wouldn't see otherwise. So I'm so happy to be creating this program. I'm glad that you guys are all along for the ride with me. We're going to take a quick break, and I've got more of those types of stories coming up when Across America Good News Edition returns. Welcome back to Across America Good News Edition. I'm Chip Brewster. Before the break, we spent the block talking about childhoods. Brand new kids, 19-year-olds that are finding their families, someone that wanted to remember being that kid. Well, this next block, it's going to be a little bit more of a mishmash of some of the positive stories, including one that maybe on the face doesn't seem that positive. It is about a life being saved. And I'll tell you, the dramatic video here by itself worth watching. But take a look at this story coming from us out of South Carolina of a man being rescued from what might have otherwise been the end.
Well, I say I'm okay. I mean, I can't get it out of my head.
An extremely close encounter Saturday night for Peter Gusty, who says he's still processing the incident.
The two people they saved my life. Period. I was underwater.
Gusty, a local rideshare driver, was making his last stop of the night, picking up a group stranded in the rain.
I said, okay, I'll take them because nobody's going to come down and get them. It was raining so hard, it was so dark out, and I was trying to get as close as I could to them at the entrance so they didn't have to walk in the rain. And all of a sudden, the front of my car went like off a ledge. It went like that. and it started floating.
That's when Robert Heaton and his friend Brandon sprung into action.
And the first thing I was saying to him is, take your seatbelt off, take your seatbelt off. We both were underneath the water. I was trying to hold his head up and actively reach for the actual seatbelt. By the grace of God, I remember praying in that moment.
Heaton tells me he believes he and Brandon were used as a vessel by Christ to be in the right place at the right time to assist.
And I know that video really tail end there, that's where you were seeing the most dramatic part. But for those that have never been around a vehicle or seen one, maybe real-time video of that being submerged, it happens in a flash. And when you're in that driver's seat, you're trying to figure out what's going on. So truly, if they had not been there, that would not have ended up being a good news story. And so we're thankful as well for those brave bystanders turned rescuers to jump in and get him out of that water. So we're going to transition over to a different kind of positive story. I've got a special connection to this one, having been in the Army for 18 and a half years at this point. When you get to go out of the military, whether that is at the end of a contract or end of a retirement, the military expects you to turn in a bunch of stuff. And I'll tell you what, that stuff, usually not in the best of condition. Here's a business idea by someone that was in the Marines, and here's the story for you to watch.
Looking back, I just wish that this would have been something that existed when I was going through.
After 4 years in the Marine Corps and facing challenges in his own transition out of the military, Rob Martinez says a prayer led him to create All Clear Gear, a service to help Marines turn in their military-issued equipment.
All Clear Gear I created back in 2018, early 2019, to help my brothers and sisters transition out of the military by taking the burden for them off their shoulders of cleaning their own SIF gear, which is all of the gear that they're issued throughout their enlistment. And on average, it takes 2 days to 2 weeks for them to clean it themselves and to turn it in. Average rejection rate of about 3 times.
Now he started a way to help other Marines not have to deal with what he went through.
I attempted to clean my own gear. It took me 4 times to clean and turn it in.
But his company guarantees a 99% pass rate. From washing, scrubbing, spot cleaning,
little rust stain right here,
steaming, and even tweezing.
Grass all in it. We have to tweeze that out with our tweezers here.
He makes sure the up to 68 pieces of gear a Marine can have aren't just spotless, they're up to a military standard.
This gear goes 4 years, sometimes 8 years, 10 years we've even seen without it being touched. And so we get to be the ones that restore it and bring it back to life. And when these guys open up their bins and they see the gear, they're like, this looks better than when I got it issued to me.
Hey, thanks for coming. Yeah, appreciate it. Is your boys doing okay? Yeah, absolutely. You already know.
But getting to this point wasn't easy. Martinez says after cleaning facilities on base with Camp Pendleton during the pandemic, he tried to open a storefront on the base. Instead, he got this letter.
I got this cease and desist letter that basically would tell me to stop coming onto the installation. I wasn't conducting sales, I wasn't collecting money, I was just picking up and dropping off.
He posted the letter online and says the community support was immediate.
The feedback and the support that I got from them was exactly what I needed at the time.
We reached out to the Marine Corps. In a statement, officials said Martinez submitted an unsolicited proposal and was invited to submit a full business plan. But they said due to the incomplete package from All Clear Gear, MCCS could not take further steps to consider Mr. Martinez's proposal. That letter now hangs in his office, a symbol of a different path.
I'm just forever so grateful for open and closed doors.
Reporting in Oceanside, I'm ZARA Barker.
And I have not touched my own, OCIE is what I call it. It used to be called TA50, but SIF, the Central Issue Facility, whatever you call it, whatever branch you're in, mine's probably in rough shape as well. So I, for one, appreciate someone creating a service just like that. I've got one more story for you before we take another break. And this one, it's just kind of a random one. I came across it. I look across America at all the different Nexstar stations and what they're doing with their feature stories. And this one really stuck out because it said, longest stainless steel slide in North America, ? And I sure want to go for a ride.
The big slide at Adventure Park is finally open, said to be the longest steel slide in the United States. So far, the critics love it.
How was it?
Good. Awesome. Great. Fun.
What was it like?
Going down a big water slide.
The parents mostly agree.
Bumpy. Kind of bumpy, really fast, you know? Kind of like you're riding a really fast horse, you know?
It's the last big phase for Owl Creek Landing.
Oh my gosh, everybody is loving it.
A roughly quarter-mile ramp leads up to the top of this tower, standing at about 65 feet with a nice view from up top. They're calling it the Whirl, launching visitors through a 117-foot-long tube. The parts were imported from Germany, built over the summer by engineers from across the ocean. Wrapping around this slide is a long wooden walkway suspended in the trees, winding through the woods. 10 on Your Side was there when it opened. Now that the big slide in the middle of it all is finally finished, staff say they're getting a lot more visitors to Owls Creek Landing.
We had a lovely family that was here the other day that stayed all day long. They brought a picnic lunch. They sat at the picnic tables. They all went down the slide. Grandma went down the slide too.
Whenever you're ready, man, you can just scoot yourself in.
All right.
Start moving.
At 65 feet up, they give you this carpet luge to ride the slide in. Takes a second to get going, but man, once you get going, yeah, you definitely get going. Bit of a bumpy ride on the way down, as some of the critical reviewers told me earlier. But overall, a fun and fast ride to be had. In Virginia Beach, Nick Broadway, 10 on Your Slide.
The rush of the air on his camera while he's going down, like you heard that, like, I wish we had a clock in there. I wonder what the speeds are that you reach on that. Anyway, really good stuff. I've got another break that I have to take, but what is a week of good news without some animal stories? And I'm going to be ending with them. And so if you've been waiting for the positive news animal stories, the next one is yours. I'll see you after the break. Okay, I have got 4 different animal-based stories that I want to get through on this episode of Across America Good News Edition. The first one, I'm going to take us out to Denver, Colorado. You may be familiar with all of the wildlife of Colorado, perhaps some of the wild horses, mustangs, but did you know that many of them end up needing to be rescued? And this place does just that.
There's a very good reason there is no rider on this horse. That's because he is a Mustang.
A Mustang is a wild horse in the United States that is managed by the Bureau of Land Management. They are the mutts of the horse community.
Devin looks like Rip, talks like Rip,
Yes, sir.
and even rides like Rip.
Bad cow.
But he's no actor. Devin Williams is the real deal. He breaks and trains wild Colorado horses.
This is Maverick, a 4-year-old Mustang.
Williams is a horse trainer and ranch manager at the Woodchip Farms in Brighton. And he's more comfortable in the saddle than on the ground.
Just let him run off the jitters.
The Mustang comes from Spanish, Arabian, and North American breeds of horses.
Always got to remind them they're doing good.
But they all have one thing in common.
Only experience they have with humans is getting rounded up and thrown into a chute, thrown into holding, and then hoping that, you know, someone adopts them. We're gonna push them out around and up this alley into this pasture.
The ones that don't get trained don't get adopted, and more times than not wind up where a horse would rather not be. Unlike Apache, who was a challenge at first.
He was so difficult, pinning his ears, he's bit me, threw me in the dirt. But once, you know, I earned his trust, he's just a big puppy dog. Hey, cows. As much as I'd like it to be about me, it's really about these horses, and just, you know, if there's one person that's willing to take a chance on a Mustang, it will be one of the best decisions they've made.
So is Williams branded like Rip?
No, sir. Not yet.
DARU, Fox 31.
Now that is some true country animal story right there. This next animal story, very different. We are going to the heart of Chicago, like as urban as you can get, talking about a massive catch in the concrete jungle.
The pole bent real nice. I grabbed it and I knew right away it was something heavy.
Fisherman Danny Vivar describing the thrill Saturday night on the Chicago River near McClurg Court.
All the people stopped and started crowding around me, cheering me on. Everybody was excited. It was a rush.
Vivar's homemade bait hooking his catch.
I use oatmeal, grits, panko breadcrumbs, sweet corn.
The electronic bite alarm signaling the start to a tremendous battle, witnesses say.
Took about maybe 15, 20 minutes of fighting it before I was able to get it out of the water.
A giant carp, as far as Vivar and others could tell, pulled from the chilly waters of the Chicago River. The crowd there to witness the spectacle, stunned to see Vivar's monstrous catch.
They were excited. They were taking pictures, recording. A lot of people couldn't believe it. A lot of people were shocked that there's fish this big in these waters.
Waters that have made a tremendous comeback in recent years, says Tim Toohey with the nonprofit Friends of the Chicago River.
In the late 80s, they did a study about how many fish were in the river system, and they found less than 10. Today, there's more than 75 and more native species of fish.
The 47-year-old Vivar, through the years catching big carp before, but without a scale Saturday night, the 235-pound, 6-foot-tall fisherman can only offer up a guess, estimating the catch to be somewhere close to 35 to 40 pounds. At the end of Saturday's epic struggle, Vivar doing what he always does, releasing his catch back into the river.
I'm not in it to eat it, keep anything. I throw everything back, game fish or not. It's just an adrenaline rush, it's a peace of mind.
I mean, that was a big fish. And that was, for those that aren't familiar with Chicago, that's like downtown. And that river was gross for so long. So a lot of different storylines going on in there. But just to catch something like that. Okay, we've talked horses. We've talked fish. Feel like we got to get a dog story in. And to help us with that one, we are headed up to Green Bay, Wisconsin. And it's a bus. It's a bus, but it's for dogs. Watch this.
Most buses take kids to class, but this one is strictly for paw passengers, and their only assignment is playtime. Welcome to Canine Convoy, a bus designed for four-legged friends. The woman behind the wheel is a local dog mom in Okano who took a chance on her true passion.
Come on, guys, let's go this way here. May of 2023, it was just a point in my full-time career. I wasn't happy anymore. It wasn't the right environment for me anymore, so I decided, hey, I'm going to take a shot on myself.
That leap of faith turning into a complete success, transforming a simple bus into the ultimate ride. Monday through Friday, 23 to 25 dogs jump aboard for the best field trip in town. They are headed to a private dog park.
The park itself is 3 acres. We have tire swings, we have tunnels for them to play with, there's basketballs, soccer balls.
When dropped off, they are given free range to roam and let their personality shine.
They normally go 110% when we first get here, and the stamina doesn't really last that long. But then I have some of them that come every single day and they run nonstop the whole entire time.
These pups aren't just spoiled at the park, they are also celebrated on their birthdays.
Macaroni turned 7 today, so today they will all be getting a cheese cracker or cookie that Macaroni's mom made.
The Canine Convoy is Wisconsin's first dog bus, but judging on the wagging tails, it most definitely won't be the last. In Okano, for Local 5, I'm BREANNA REINHART.
I think what drew me to that one, yeah, the dogs. The dogs is cool, but the uniqueness of it, like a bus that just picks up 2 dozen dogs and goes and does this amazing field trip. That's cool. Hopefully someone's watching this going, I'm about to do that because that needs to happen in my community. I'm going to end this episode of Across America Good News Edition by taking you out into the desert and showing you a flying pig. No, I mean it. I mean it. Flying pig. Check this out.
Ballooning has been such a big part of my life for a long time. I mean, I bought my first balloon when my son was 1 year old. He's grown up with balloons. He's now a hot air balloon pilot.
Doug Gant has been flying hot air balloons the past 35 years.
I'm fortunate in that I have flown in 40 of the 48 states. You know, I've been to Canada, I've been to Taiwan. I know pilots all over the world.
You may recognize his iconic When Pigs Fly hot air balloon at Balloon Fiesta every year. The pig's name is Hamlet, and he's been around for 23 years. Now Hamlet is up for sale.
There comes a point in time where you recognize that your skills aren't as good as they used to be. And if you're on top of yourself, you just need to know when to take the car keys away from grandma. and that's where I am.
Gant says this upcoming fiesta will be the last time he will fly Hamlet after he plans to pass on his prized possession. As for the future of the world's largest flying pig at fiestas to come,
it's entirely up to whoever buys the balloon. It'd be nice if it stayed here in the United States, and then I'd be able to see it every year coming to fiesta, because I plan on volunteering with them in the future going forward.
Gant says piloting has been like no other experience. His favorite memory is his first balloon fiesta in 2001.
And I'll always remember my first flight off of Fiesta Field, because it was just amazing with having over 500 pilots in balloons in various stages of inflation on the field and taking off.
Gant still plans to attend Balloon Fiesta after retirement and wants to remain close to Albuquerque. Is there going to be a part of you that misses this?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. In Albuquerque, the Balloon Fiesta, major local thing. I have never had the pleasure of going there, but once again, another local story that you might not have otherwise heard if you hadn't been watching Across America Good News Edition on your local Nexstar station CTV app. So thank you for joining me as we did travel indeed across America: San Diego, Norfolk, Charleston, Little Rock, Kansas City, Colorado Springs, Denver, Chicago, Green Bay, and Albuquerque. It has been a wonderful episode, and I can't wait to keep doing these, and I hope to see you in the future for more Across America Good News Edition shows. Again, I'm Chip Brewster. Take care.